WINS, WINS-FM in HD1 New York.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Right now, we are looking at 62 degrees under cloudy skies in Midtown, heading down to a low of 51 overnight. Then for Monday, we'll see a high of 63, cooler with clouds and some afternoon sun. More people get their news from 1010 Winds than from any other radio station in the nation. Annie Bennett is our service aide. Walter Geis at the editor's desk. I am Stephanie Officer.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM, New York.
Good morning. It's 62 degrees at 12 midnight on this Monday, May 11th. I'm Bud Mishkin. Here's what's happening. The Knicks are what's happening. They're heading on to the Eastern Conference Finals. They routed the Sixers Sunday again to complete a 4-game sweep in the second round of the NBA playoffs. 3 NYPD officers hurt in a fire in Brooklyn. The injuries are considered minor. Fatal gun violence in Brownsville today, and an 18-year-old man is dead. Long Island Railroad strike, it's a possibility next weekend. And the body of one of 2 missing U.S. servicemen in Morocco has been found. Sports, along with the Knicks' defeat of the Sixers, the Yankees lost in Milwaukee, the Mets lost in Arizona, the Liberty beat Washington. AccuWeather early this morning, mostly cloudy, a shower or 2 lingering, mainly south and east of the city. It's news time, 12:01. Let's get you where you need to go. We check in with Mayan Levinson.
Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Much better ride traveling into Brooklyn if you're picking up the Kosciuszko Bridge. That is due. That crash being cleared out of the way. And I'll take a look at my jam cam. Traffic is flowing freely both Queens and Brooklyn bound. Checking our other East River crossings. A little bit slow getting back into Brooklyn if you are picking up the Brooklyn Bridge, Manhattan Bridge, and Williamsburg bridges. They are doing just fine. Over to the Hudson River crossings. No complaints. Lincoln or Holland tunnels. At the Lincoln Tunnel, they do have that South 2 closed. Overnight construction. It's smooth sailing right now if you're heading to the George Washington Bridge. Making our way in Queens, cleaning up a crash on the westbound side of the Grand Central. This is over by Roosevelt Avenue. It's blocking that center lane. And then here's what we see on Long Island's Big 3. Looking good right now. LIE, Northern State, and Southern State. Mayan Levinson, 1010 Winds at 92.3 FM.
Pretty nice Sunday weather-wise for Mother's Day. Looking ahead, let's get the latest from AccuWeather's Matt Rindy.
A cool front moving through the area is going to lead to a shower or 2 as we move through the early morning hours, the best chance of which will be to the south and east of the city. That will continue to push southward. We'll have clouds to start later today, but then some sunshine will return. It is going to be a cooler day for mid-May with a high of 63, and even Tuesday with sunshine much of the time, only have a high of 64. Staying in the 60s on Wednesday and Thursday as well. Back to you.
We are the New York Knicks.
They are indeed, and they are heading to the Eastern Conference Finals. What a day for the Knicks and their fans in Philadelphia. The Knicks routed the Sixers once again, 144 to 114, and it wasn't that close. The only game that was close in the series was Game 2. Otherwise, all routs in favor of the Knicks. They sweep the Sixers to advance past the second round of the NBA playoffs. Jalen Brunson after the game.
Focus. We're staying poised, staying composed. Just focus on the little things, one day at a time, one game at a time. There's not looking ahead at all. Staying in the moment.
He made his comments on ESPN. The Knicks now await the winner of the Cleveland-Detroit series to find out who they will play in the Eastern Conference Finals. And that series is still going on, so the Knicks will have several days off to rest. The New York State Attorney General's office is looking into a fatal police-involved shooting in the town of Southampton. Police say they got a call around 2:45 Sunday afternoon about an escalating domestic situation. Police arrived. They say a man armed with a knife was shot and killed by Southampton town police officers. A woman was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. 3 Southampton town police officers were treated and released at a local hospital. By New York State law, the Attorney General's office must investigate all fatal police-involved shootings. 3 NYPD officers are hospitalized tonight from a fire. FDNY says they got a call around 6:30 tonight for a fire in a first-floor store on DeKalb Avenue between Bedford-Stuyvesant and Clinton Hill. Injuries to the officers are said to be minor. The fire was brought under control within an hour. The cause is under investigation. Fatal gun violence today in Brownsville, Brooklyn. Police say they responded to a 911 call and found an 18-year-old was shot in the chest just after 3 o'clock. Quamir Cruz was pronounced dead at the hospital. No arrests at this time. And gun violence early this morning outside a restaurant in Jackson Heights. Police say there was a fight at around 5 a.m. inside the Mexican Cochina Bar and Restaurant on Northern Boulevard. It moved to the street. The suspect took out a gun, fired. 30-year-old victim was shot multiple times. Police say he's hospitalized, expected to survive. The suspect fled. Sources say the victim is not cooperating with the police investigation. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers, 1-800-577-TIPS. This is not the news that Long Island Railroad commuters want to hear, but we could be looking at a possible strike come next Saturday. More than 400 Long Island Railroad union workers and supporters gathered Saturday in Massapequa to protest. Kevin Sexton is the National Vice President of the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen.
For more than 3 years, this coalition is bargaining in good faith with the MTA. After countless bargaining sessions, mediation, and after 2 presidential emergency boards, we're still fighting for something that is very simple, a contract that keeps pace with the cost of living.
A supporter at the rally spoke to ABC7.
No, our members are not crazy. The money that their family needs, that you need to survive on Long Island, the cost of inflation.
An MTA spokesman called the gathering Saturday, quote, the first ever rally for a fare hike, arguing that the union's proposed raises would force the MTA to raise ticket prices. Beagle Mania this weekend. New York City Second Chance Rescue Program welcomed a group of 70 rescued beagles at its Long Island City Adoption Center. Jennifer Brooks is founder and president of New York City Second Chance Rescue.
We had about 4 or 5 of them go home on Friday, and some of the other ones that need a little more time are in foster care.
And apparently, a lot of people wanted to meet the beagles.
So many great applicants stepped up, people that have had laboratory beagles before. So we did give priority to people that had experience. And also some of them went outside the city. It's always nice for them to have yards if possible.
This is part of a national rescue effort after the removal of some 300 dogs from Ridgeland Farms in Wisconsin.
This shall not stand. This shall not stand.
A rally in Queens Sunday to denounce anti-Semitic vandalism. NYPD says multiple swastikas were found painted on buildings, including Jewish institutions in Forest Hills and Rego Park. Investigators are said to be using surveillance videos to try to identify the suspects. Passengers aboard the hantavirus-afflicted ship are flying home tonight, aboard military and government planes, including 17 Americans who are scheduled to be quarantined at the University of Nebraska Medical Center in Omaha.
17 Americans and 1 British passenger on board a cruise ship. The site of that deadly hantavirus outbreak are expected to arrive in Omaha, Nebraska. Earlier in the day, disembarking the MV Hondias anchored off Tenerife in small groups. The Americans then loaded onto buses, giving a wave as they headed towards their flights. Officials initially said no one on board had any symptoms of hantavirus. Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
Meanwhile, 2 New Jersey residents are being monitored. The 2 were not on the cruise, but were exposed to someone who was. 62 degrees right now in Midtown. We'll get down to a low of 51 overnight. Traffic in the full AccuWeather forecast next. Coming up, the body of one of 2 missing U.S. servicemen in Morocco has been found. We'll tell you about that, but first, Wins News Time, 12:11. Let's get you where you need to go. Mayan Levinson.
Trouble in the Bronx. This is basically as you're coming off the RFK Bridge. It's the start of the Deegan there. It's taking off right on that exit ramp there. The left lane is blocked. You can partially see it, but at least 2 cars are involved, so that's a left lane block. Once you're past that, you're fine. The RFK Bridge itself is looking okay. So here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. The East River crossings, I'm seeing some slowdowns getting back into Brooklyn across the Brooklyn Bridge. The rest of our East River crossings are looking good. Over to the Hudson River crossings, looking good at the George Washington Bridge. Lincoln Tunnel does have the center tube closed on the inbound side for overnight construction. No delays, really. Holland Tunnel is also a good choice at this hour. Driving to Queens, not too bad of a ride on the Grand Central or on the LIE at this point. BQE is also a pretty quiet ride. In Brooklyn, we are looking good. Pretty much as you're picking up the BQ, if you're coming in from Queens, it does remain a quiet ride. Maya Levinson, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
Got a check of the AccuWeather forecast now with meteorologist Matt Rindy.
It is going to be mostly cloudy early this morning, while a shower or two lingering mainly south and east of the city with a low down to 51. Then later today, cooler with clouds and then some afternoon sun, especially northwest New Jersey and the Hudson Valley suburbs. High of the day up to 63, and then turning out mainly clear Monday night with a low down to 47. Still cool for mid-May on Tuesday. We'll have sun much of the time and a high of 64. Then cloudy on Wednesday with a couple of showers around and a high of 62. And then a chance for some steadier rain on Thursday with highs in the mid-60s. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Matt Rindy on New York's weather station. 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
2 U.S. soldiers based in Morocco have been missing since May 2nd. The remains of one have been found.
The U.S. military says the remains of a U.S. Army soldier who went missing during military exercises in Morocco a week ago have been recovered. First Lieutenant Kendrick Lamont Key Jr., a 14A Air Defense Artillery officer, was one of 2 U.S. soldiers who fell off a cliff during a recreational hike in Morocco. He was 27 years old. The search for the second missing soldier is still ongoing. Their disappearance triggered a search and rescue operation involving more than 600 personnel from the United States, Morocco, and other military partners. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Abraham Foxman has done it. He led the Anti-Defamation League for almost 3 decades and was considered a powerful voice and advocate for American Jews in the fight against anti-Semitism. There are no details given publicly about the cause of Foxman's death. He led the ADL for 28 years, counseling public officials and taking on prominent figures over anti-Semitic remarks. He was born in what is now Belarus and survived the Holocaust after a nanny had him baptized as a Catholic to conceal his Jewish identity. He reunited with his parents after the war, and the family moved to New York. The current head of the ADL, Jonathan Greenblatt, issued a statement saying in part that Foxman, quote, spoke on a global stage with moral authority and clarity and was relentlessly dedicated to his pursuit of a world without hate. Abraham Foxman was 86. Russian President Putin maintained this weekend that the war against Ukraine is coming to an end. Nothing on the ground suggests that. Both sides have suffered casualties in drone and artillery strikes in the past 24 hours. And Ukraine and Russia are blaming each other for breaking a U.S. brokered ceasefire.
As the war drags on, the cost for the Russian public rises. New draconian internet restrictions in Russia, also justified on security grounds, are proving deeply unpopular because of the negative impact they have on people's daily lives. But despite Putin's words, if U.S. brokered negotiations resume, there is no sign the Kremlin is willing to compromise. Tom Stuffy-Burridge, ABC News.
The pain at the pump here continues. Drivers are seeing another sharp increase at the pump, with the national average for a gallon of regular gas rising 25 cents for the second consecutive week, now up to $4.55. A month ago, the national average was $4.15. A year ago, $3.13.
If you are paying for gas now compared to how you paid for gas on February 27th, 2026, right before the war started, on average, you're spending usually in the ballpark of $20 or more to fill up your tank today than you were back then. So that's real money that people are feeling. And we've heard it from red states and blue states alike that this is something that is factoring into how people live their lives.
It's correspondent Christiane Cordero. Nancy Guthrie remains missing. Police believe she was abducted from her Tucson home in the early morning hours of February 1st. On this Mother's Day, her son-in-law, Michael Feldman, shared a tribute online to Michael's wife and Nancy's daughter, Savannah Guthrie, calling her the strongest person I know. No suspects have been publicly identified in the case. Dua Lipa is filing a $15 million suit against Samsung. She alleges that the electronics manufacturer used her likeness to sell TVs without paying her and without her permission. The suit alleges that when she found out that her image was being used and demanded the company stop using it, the company was, in the words of the suit, dismissive and callous and refused the request. No response yet from Samsung.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good morning. It's 62 degrees at 12:20 on this Monday, May 11th. I'm Bud Mishkin. Here's what's happening. The Knicks are happening. They're red hot in the playoffs. They're heading on to the Eastern Conference Finals after a 4-game sweep of the 76ers in their second-round playoff series. Some teachers raising concerns that students are not reading complete books, just excerpts for assignments. The house always wins, right? Not last night for a New Jersey mom in Atlantic City. Iran responds to the U.S. ceasefire proposal. President Trump then responds to Iran's response, calling it unacceptable. And in case you were wondering, application periods for the statewide alligator harvest program and the alligator super hunt have opened, not here, right, in Florida. Sports, alongside the Knicks win over the Sixers, the Yankees lost to Milwaukee, the Mets were beaten in Arizona, the Liberty defeated Washington. AccuWeather, early this morning, cloudy, a shower or two lingering, mainly.